Okay, so I'm going to be going over my experience playing through the worst game ever. So first of all, it is the Creepypasta Universe series. It is terrible. It had a terribly done open world in the first game, bad grammar where they screw up certain words or use other words in the incorrect tense. It's awful. Children found the game funny, kept spamming the quote, "Go to sleep" from the lame story Jeff the Killer. I don't know why people found Jeff the Killer hot at that time, or scary, or that was apparently the minority's opinion. Full of My Little Pony because they wanted to use modern trends to make people play their game, which that doesn't work when it's a horror game. Final boss had made me have to retry the game multiple times, and it was genuinely brutally hard, and I barely won. It had awful dungeons that were dull, looked hideous, looked sterile, were too big, and I could just skip to any of them. There was a point where Luna tells you to go to sleep and you die because the YouTuber Luigi Kid would abandon you. It was awful. There was a secret room with these stupid video clips that weren't even scary. It was just Luigi Kid having a seizure with a plush doll of Pinkie Pie and like random jump scares, and one was My Little Pony intro, and I couldn't skip it. I thought the Luigi Kid one was like a minigame where I had to mash the attack button because I reset at some point. So I mashed space thinking it was some kind of battle that wouldn't give you XP. Also, one of the main characters' dreams was them talking about how they want to live in My Little Pony and living in My Little Pony and dreaming of it. It was just, painful. So a couple of the villains near the end were drawn in Microsoft Paint, with Microsoft Paint also being used to add blood to them. They ripped off the Elite Four from the Pokemon games. Then I beat the final boss. It was so bad, it was funny. Also, it had an obsession with talking about Pinkamena. Like, Pinkamena's not scary. I actually looked it up on Wikipedia, made a playthrough while my cousins were in the room, and it was just Pinkie Pie's, like, birth name. Pinkamena Diane Pie. Why is the horror version named that? Also, the horror version is lame. It's literally just like a generic murderer that puts people in a room and stabs them alive. Then they get cooked into cupcakes because they're out of character. Also, the second game, it began with your main character going to high school to learn about the year 199 AD. Apparently that's when they invented coins. I checked Google because the guy couldn't tell the difference, because the developer didn't know the difference between the 199 AD and 1999 for some reason. I mean, if I put someone from 199 in 1999, there would be a bigger reaction. Then the guy, protagonist's friend, Max, was all like, "I wish for the creepypasta to be real." And they're like, "No, you wish when creepypasta were real. Now they're real. Because they're now real. Because they were at the period where they were real." And I think time's broken. What the hell is this storyline? Then you go to sleep a lot and you get a bunch of more dreams that we have strange nightmares about creepypasta, and honestly, it's stupid and lame. And there was a circus thing that caused a space loop that cut me off from the item shop, so I had to replay the game because I died to Sonic.exe virus form, which was just a Sonic CD thing, and it was terrible. Then there was Gygus, except without the cool visuals and worse dialogue and lame everything, and probably without the music, because I don't remember. Zolgo was a stupid final boss. Final boss the first game, son of Zolgo. Final boss the second game, That's not Zalgo. I don't even know what Zalgo looks like. See, like the big bag of creepypasta? I can find Zalgo. I'll just put him in a pot of boiling water and oil and salt and then cook him and put him in another oven pan, put sauce and some hamburger meat in there and like make a good spaghetti out of him. He was also weaker than his son, far weaker. It was so bad it angered me. Also, collectively during these runs we looked up Pink Community and Pie if Princess Luna had dream powers to make fun of how inaccurate the game was. Twilight Sparkle's voice, because I was going to do a bad impression of it, and I could. Equestria Girls full movie, because the third game tried to claim it was going to follow that thing's story. None of us wanted to actually sit through more than 2 seconds of that garbage. I don't blame us. Then I got stuck in it. I got stuck in a town area, so I had to look up a guide on how to get past it. I looked up the YouTuber Yukari Shy, and it turns out they were going homeless 10 years ago. Wow, cool video game. You feature someone who's now homeless in your game. You're a horrible human. And Flutterbat, which was in a real My Little Pony episode and not even scary. We didn't look at clips of the thing because we just looked at Wikipedia and that was that. Third game. The third game now, Sonic and Pinkie Pie rule hell. Why? I don't know, because it's hell. If it sounds terrible and stupid, it means it's torture, so you're doing hell the right way, I guess. And then the guy, got his wish granted to live with the ponies for 8 months, and it was, honest. This would only sound good and interesting if James Rolfe explained it. He might make it sound salvageable. There was more awful pony shit. I'm not going over it. I forget. And then I beat... And then, apparently there were these moving Bratz dolls shaped like... I had to move around the human ponies, like I was moving logs around on a boat. Because it was basically on a boat, you had to move them all individually. It was the worst part of the game. Then I beat Laughing Jack. I thought, it's going to be over. And I'm going to say, it's unfinished, you're done. No, it didn't. And then we got to the ability called El Stupido and a flashback to a fan game that YouTuber MasterMax888 played. We features him on Hearts and Hoops Day. And a date with Trixie, with the only difference between the map in that game and the map in the game I played was the game I played did not have a Sweetie Belle, Rarity's little sister, running around in a square, running around in a circle near the bottom of the map, and the second map had a Luna fight. Instead of whatever happened in the actual map, Master Max's video featuring that fan game's gone. I never wrote down the name of the fan game, and the fan game, I tried to download it to pull assets, but apparently, for whatever reason, the guy who made the fan games, Love and Muffin Productions, is now gone, because, as well as, which is also known as Vanitaz, as well as, Yukari Shire also made some of these fan games. I don't know why would you go homeless, you want to actively take that stuff down. You should have better priorities, but, I don't know. Maybe they didn't want that to be their final legacy online. Well, being homeless, I don't know. Also, the developer of the third game exposed some YouTubers' names, and that pissed me off. Like, what is wrong with you? No one knows these people. What are you doing? I had to learn how to use RPG Maker to fix, 20 in-game crashes where I'm trying to develop an ending to it. The problem is I have to research these characters, realize, holy shit, they are written so badly and do not fit the scenario. So then, I have to figure out how to fit them into the scenario and have their little character quirks shine. It's a pain in the ass. But I've been slowly doing it on my spare time. It's kind of fun, but it's not fun when I have to, spend a few days during my off time thinking through my background thoughts on how to get a character to work in the game. It's awful. Also, at some point I thought the main villains were killed off in the Rainbow Factory sequence because they never appeared again. But apparently that's not the case. Also, in that sequence they showed me, they can make whatever the hell they want into real life. Like, oh, do you want to summon, I don't know, want to summon, like, the Sonic for the Sonic movie? They can do that. Or they want to summon anything, they can summon anything. I had to balance the game because the fights got so tedious because everything had 30,000 HP and I was stuck at level 10. Also, the dialogue was just a bunch of memes. It was so bad it felt like it would be a meme if this game got traction for being laughably awful. Also, Queen Chrysalis said, "Stop talking to your selfie." It was a funny bad line. Also, it's like the guy kept using Flutterbat, but he could have just used Dracula. Because Flutterbat's not a creepypasta, and he could have just used Castlevania Dracula. It would have made far more sense. Also, there was a Genocide City location. Are you out of your mind, developer? Also, the developer revealed his actual name. I'm not saying it in this video, because I actually respect the guy's privacy. Also Mango wanted to be hip with the kids with strange auto-tune dialogue because it was a Five Nights at Freddy's location that genuinely remade the house and the pizzeria, but it had 2 hours of tedious fights while I had a sunburn from the pool from swimming with my cousins. There was no sunblock, it was torture. Then the Bite of 87 was done in 1983, but by a random worker accidentally, according to Fredbear, because the dialogue implied the worker did it, I think, due to how bad it was. I used up all the useless items against what I thought the final boss was, and it wasn't. They didn't do anything. Then there was this meme thing, like the meme balloon boy, called Enragement Child Meme Boy. I later learned that he featured in Master Max 888 fan games and Five Nights at Fuckboys, the fan game. As a major villain, I think was voiced by a certain autocorrect. The Rake is immortal. So he's like the opposite of immortal, I think. So his immortality just made him die, like a normal person. It was messy and not helpful for defending him, basically. He looked stupid, and I expected an actual Rake. There was an Elite Four battle where I thought, the game's gonna be over, yes! And then the game was not over, and it kept going, and going, and going, and going, and it took 20 hours, and the development time is probably gonna say 100 hours. Also, it was the engine open, thinking of what to do. Then there was some stuff in the forest with a tedious fight, then a skip to another fight. Then there was a stupid final dream. Where like a bunch of YouTubers get captured, uncaptured. You battle some like generic murderer creepypasta where the whole premise is this guy might be out there in real life. No, he's not. They're all just the writer of the story who's a shy kid who's all, my life's awful. My life is a shit. I'm going to do commentary on that at this point using a specific character who basically followed all those points to a T, basically. Apparently had an awful experience trying to record the game or something. I don't know what that means. And then there were the final dreams of the game in the fan continued chapter 2. And basically in that chapter 2, I had to like develop an ending and fix some stuff and deal with his untouched villains. Also, it had an organization called the Red Shirts, which was comprised of meme characters, and I don't know what the red shirts are. I don't know what I'll do for them. That's ridiculous. And now I'm currently making the final area and its final boss. I have to resolve a bunch of stupid villains, and it's kind of a pain in the ass to do in my spare time. Mostly when I can't tell how to incorporate the villain. Okay, those games were terrible. I had to the game was so terrible and so long and so tedious that it drove me to build an ending to the game. What's worse than that? Ballstorm, a knockoff of Ballstorm with less options, all of which were dull, free, and you had to accept Ballstorm, which you paid for, and were like these small early iOS apps that were more this cute little time-wasting, dopamine-inducing experience, and less actual games. Then there's Sonic 4. I don't like Sonic 4. Sonic 4 looks like plastic. Sonic 4 looks like I saw Sonic 1 while at the dentist and on the sleeping shot as my brain's perception of reality dies. Then I tried to remake it based on that memory because that's my only point of reference. And then you get Sonic 4 with bad physics, flat, bulky graphics, broken scale. Everything sucks and is terrible. It's basically Sonic 1 if it was made to reflect what you saw when you played Sonic 1 on a bad trip. And the physics were awful, and it was infuriating because it felt like it had this underlying mentality that Sonic should have never evolved past the 90s, or hell, even early 90s, or even first couple games. It just felt like this weird regression and just apathy towards the series. Well, I beat it. Some of the bosses felt like a kid designed it, because it kept giving you health across the fight, because they made some of the fights too hard. The Sky World 10 Sky Zone was terrible for this, because it just kept giving me HP and had insta-kill stuff, and it was hard to dodge, so it kept giving me HP to compensate. It sucked. The final boss was meh. The game ends without a proper ending, and just, I hated it. I'm trying to play through all the classic Sonic games. Now I have to do all the hard mode runs of them. Either way, those were my thoughts on the worst games of all time. Goodbye.